It's time to take a look at the front pages this morning. Let's begin with our sister publication, shall we, this day. It leads with the comments from the president to senators. Those alleging malicious embellishment of budget didn't understand the arithmetic. Another headline there, we're worried to traditional rulers. If you shield criminals, you are inviting trouble. And finally, above the masthead, federal government to matter. Nigeria ready with gifted youths to lead Africa in digital technology vision.
Let's look at the Punch. Some interesting stories on the front page. 16 governors, back state police submit reports to the federal government. And as he wants minimum wage April, governors warn against bloated demand. And Naira appreciates to 1,382 to the dollar. Presidency cautions speculators and smoke out illegal miners. FG tells 2,200 new mining marshals.
The Vanguard leads with killing of soldiers. Says Okwama women, children trapped in forests for 6 days.
Let's look at the sports Punch extra. Benjamin Taminu, exclusive. Honestly, I didn't think my invitation to the Super Eagles was going to be this soon. Football story from Benin to Eagles. Eagles Black Stars clash in Marrakech. WBC mandates Joshua to fight Fury versus Usyk. Winner Haaland allays injury fears, and Arsenal United interested in 120 million euros Rodrigo of Madrid.
The big story on The Guardian this morning is that of the menace of land grabbing. It says land grabbers, speculators wreak havoc on citizens and investments.
The Vanguard newspaper.
I'm taking the Vanguard.
Oh, just the Vanguard you took. Now, let's look at Tribune. Tribune has on its front page the Okwama killings. GOC soldiers to remain in the creeks until whenever. Delta governor cautions traditional rulers against shielding suspects. 20 states failed to submit report on state police. El-Rufai's visit to SDP stairs debate. No respite for poultry farmers as product scarcity rising, cost persist.
Let's go over to the international scene. The Daily Express this morning. Pay up. Millions of women are owed pension payouts.
The Daily Express you just took. All right, let's look at the Guardian. U.S. toughens stance to call for immediate Gaza ceasefire.
The Mirror also has that story on women's pension, and it says, pay them what they are owed.
The I-paper, WASPy women demand help from Labour.
I think that's the much we can take on those papers. Let's have Lemmy Weber join us for the review of the big stories. Hi, Lemmy. Good to see you this morning.
Good morning.
It's looking like a Friday.
And when you hear the president say, those alleging malicious embellishment of the budget didn't understand the arithmetic. It says, I understand, I know what I sent to the Senate and I know what I got back. He was speaking to senators yesterday at the breaking of the fast. He did not mention any names, but perhaps could he have been referring to the now suspended Senator Ningi and those who criticized the 2024 budget?
No, clearly the president was taking a swipe at Ningi and the silent supporters of Ningi. Sometimes I really do not understand why the president really thinks he should dabble into that issue. Clearly, the statement issued by his SM media when the controversy broke that there were two budgets was a statement strong enough, sufficient enough to have dealt with the issue. He didn't need to go there. And he went further during that meeting, that breaking of fast, to even describe the senators, the lawmakers. He said, your integrity is intact. I think that the president is acting and speaking way above his authority. Who are the employers of the president and the lawmakers? The Nigerian people. And only the Nigerian people can actually declare a vote of confidence on the integrity of the lawmakers, not the president. Even the president is under critical examination for the next 4 years, after which Nigerians will decide whether he's done well or not. But questions are clearly raised by all of the allegations about budget padding. We said that Ningi was a little not very clear in the way he expressed it. However, we saw that there are serious issues of the kind of monies allocated. For instance, saying that about 21 billion was allocated to the constituency of the Senate president, from which 2.1 billion was to be used to buy generator. So it defeats the whole purpose of constituency projects at a time now when licensing has been deregulated on how to generate power. The Senate president thinks it's generator and deep freezers that it should be given as empowerment scheme. It means that our lawmakers and our government are still thinking in the 16th century. They need to be more progressive.
Well, I mean, someone would probably tell you that the president is the executive. They took the budget to the Senate, to the NAS, and then he has an opinion. But let's look at what the Punch is saying. Naira appreciates to 1,382 to the dollar. What is happening? And then 16 governors back state police. That sounds like a very good news. 16 governors back state police submit reports to the federal government.
Yeah, the debate about state police has gone on for as long as this renaissance democracy of ours. A lot of us, while knowing that there needs to be a deregulation of the policing system so that one man does not just decide when there's trouble in Delta or there's trouble in Rivers or there's trouble in Katsina, we are waiting for the commander-in-chief or the inspector general of police to decide on what steps to take. However, some of us are still cautious about the whole issue because at the state level, state governors who have wiped out local governments, authorities, are a little too despotic. There's hardly any level of democracy at the state level. And so when you now empower them to have control of state police, we've seen what some of them did with Ebubeago, we've seen what some of them did with various militia groups, the joint task forces that were set up. So one is worried and one is concerned. So we need to dot the I's and cross the T's. It's rife that we must really go beyond the current policing structure. And when it comes to the Naira gaining so much strength now, you know, it's exciting to see that Cardoso and his group could really, you know, swing this one. Well, I'm just a bit cautiously optimistic because there are variables that if you do not see playing out, you are worried if this is real, if this is sustainable. There's really no production we are doing yet. For us to be able to get Forex into our system, we really need to up the ante in terms of production. We need to go beyond the exportation of crude oil, and you already know that even most of the monies for crude oil that it's exported out, the Forex that should have come, are already being used to service the Gargantuan loan taken by the Buhari administration. So we can invest in agriculture. The agricultural value chain is very, very, very big. If we do that, then perhaps we'll be able to sustain whatever is going on right now.
Indeed. Well, in this 16 states indicating and sending their reports is good news. The vice president yesterday at the NEC did say it's unimpressive as 20 states and the FCT are still yet to send their report. He thinks they are slow on the matter, given the exigencies of time. But let's look at the security situation further, Lemmy, particularly Delta State. We look at the front page of this day. You see the governor warning traditional rulers, you cannot shield the perpetrators of this act. If you flip to the Vanguard, you see a different narrative of the consequences or the ripple effect. The Vanguard is reporting that the Okwama women and children are in the forest. They've been there now for 6 days and counting. The Nigerian Tribune, on the other hand, says soldiers will remain in the creeks until You have to find details in that report. But the military is saying they're not going to leave until they recover their weapons, until they make sure that this never happens again. Lemmy, what do you make of the situation in Okwama?
Yeah, it's really very sad. That episode should never have happened, but we need to deal with it decisively in order to make sure it never happens again. So I agree with the soldiers when they say they must handle it in a way that it never happens again. However, we must caution. We must caution that two wrongs never make a right. We must point out some basics. One, I also have my parents in Ughelli, and I confirm to you that they have had to flee. So they are more or less internally displaced people now, my aged parents. So yes, people have gone into the forest because of fear of reprisal. But the military needs to know, the soldiers need to know that those who have perpetrated this heinous crime are definitely not within the communities at a time like this. So they need to really work with the intelligence agency, the DSS. They need to work with the police. There's no need really putting some barricade about the help that the police trained for such acts and the DSS should be able to render.
That's talking about investigation.
Yeah.
In a democracy.
Yeah.
I mean, the talk is let the soldiers give way, because the talk is that the police, DSS, do not have access there because the soldiers are still occupying the places. And yes, it was horrible, but then this is the democracy. There's need for investigations because there's so many talks to find out, get to the root of the matter in this particular incident. All right, which other story do we take? Do we have time? Maybe one more story. We've done this. Okay, we can take more stories. Nigeria not owing foreign airlines. This is from the Tribune. $700 million Nanta.
When did they settle the foreign airlines? We know that this has been a perennial issue. The issue of repatriating forex and all that. It's been a major concern. Is the reason some airlines even had to short operations. So we'll wait for reactions. I don't know how Tribune got this particular...
Actually, it's Nanta.
Okay, Nanta. So we'll wait for reactions. The foreign airlines are also seized of this information.
And then you also have the story of 1 billion liters of petrol smuggled out to benefit those not paying tax. This is from the federal government.
Yes, but federal government should do more than all of this lamentation. We have what it takes to be able to check illegal smuggling. So they should do more than what it requires.
Thank you, Lemmy, so much for sharing your morning with us on the Paper Review on Daybreak and the Rise News channel. We do appreciate your time. Have a great weekend.